This is the feedback that you get for not coming to the party.
What do you mean? What do you mean not coming to the party?
Anybody that didn't come. Bro, it was so loud.
It was.
We were podcasting at the same time that the music was in the background. It was a lot of fun, actually.
I saw you and Ryan.
Hey, what's up, guys? What's up, guys? What's up, guys? Everybody's back. Two Baltimorons, Mike Frank, Christian Olson, back to talk about real estate nothingness. There you go.
It's been a while.
No, just a second ago, we were talking about our client appreciation party and how much fun it was and all the people that helped and sponsored and supported. Some people came in clutch with discounts and deals because they love to give back just like we do. One of those people is Alex Constantine with Baltimore de la Flor. Alex is a longtime client of mine, and Christian came in from the wilderness over there asking, like, was she at the party? And I said, no. And he's like, what the fuck? But Alex was not at the party.
And supposedly this is the craziest story
It's the weirdest thing. All right. So
we had to wait for the podcast for anybody to hear about this.
What I was brought up with, and I know, like, what I would say is cultural Christianity. Like, I know what I know. I don't know. So Alex wasn't at the client appreciation party last Friday because they celebrate Good Friday last Friday, which is like 3 weeks late.
She's Christian. She's Christian?
It's some denomination of the Christian church.
I actually did think I saw something like that on my calendar. That was like
Orthodox Christianity.
Orthodox Easter was Sunday, May 5th.
Yeah. That's hers.
Friday, I don't see anything on Friday. But
well, it's Good Friday, the Friday before Easter.
Oh, true.
Duh.
Yeah.
Right? So I was talking with Alex, and she was sharing that she's not going to be there. I was obviously bummed out. Excited to see the flowers, and she does such a good job, like, kind of blending in what I call affectionately, like, the boho vibe to sort of, like, the modern element. And what I mean by this is, like, if you were in an industrial modern space, her vibe will kind of like blend into the space. If you're in an art museum, she's going to kind of create the vibe a little bit more to mesh. She's going to be able to say this way better than I can.
I just like how there was all like different sizes of vases, and flowers, and whatever you had.
And there's like a pop of white and a pop of yellow, and then they had like grasses going on, and it's really cool to see. But Alex's religion, they were at their Good Friday, which apparently they spend Friday night. They have a service. I don't know if they call it a mass or what, but they have a service Friday night, and then the service is for a couple of hours. It's like one of the longer services for the year. Okay. And then when they're done, they have like a celebration, dare we say party. And then they stay up all night and they celebrate and party until 3 a.m. And then they wake up again and they have an early morning service or mass or something on Saturday where they have
damn, they're getting turned,
bro. It's
celebrating Easter.
It's like the most
it's like if Miami celebrated Easter. I don't know.
Right. Like, literally, we're going to a conference in Miami. We have to be at the conference at 9 a.m. My friends are leaving the club at 8:59. Right? But that was how they described it to me. She's like, I can't be there. It's this weekend. And now I know, like, don't plan anything on Orthodox Easter, which I never understood when I saw that. Because like growing up culturally Jewish, there was Orthodox Judaism and there's no Easter in the Jewish religion. So I was really confused.
I don't even know what the term Orthodox really means in terms of religion. I
don't know. But the one thing that I can share with you is it's as close to Judaism as it comes. Like even when I was at Alex's older sister's wedding, their religious book. I don't want to say it's a Bible. I don't know what it's called, right? Yeah. But their book in the chapel had Hebrew in it. Some of their teachings and prayers were in Hebrew, and I was like, oh wow, like I know this, you know?
Yeah.
It was a very different space, and their particular chapel is designed a little bit more, let's say, Central Asian. Right? Like it's a little bit more of like that. It looks kind of like a mosque. It has a lot of gold and a lot of artistic, and it's very unique.
Where is it at?
In Potomac, I think, or in Bethesda.
Is it the one that looks like Disney World?
No, that's the one that's on the side of the highway.
Yeah.
That's the Boomy Temple, I think.
I don't know what it's called.
But what are the cops doing here? Go away, bro.
I don't know what kind of church it is, but whenever we would drive on that highway, we're like, oh my God, Disney World is a big like meme and thing.
Yeah, it's up. Like the thing right on the side of the Beltway. Now, this place is smaller than that, and it's not like that thing is very pointy. This is more like a dome, like a mosque. Like it was very interesting, and I didn't know why she wasn't going to be able to make it. And then she shared with me this whole thing about like her denomination's Easter, and I was just kind of blown away. Maybe I was blown away.
This is the first time I've heard of like a Orthodox Easter.
I never understood what it meant. Ever. Apparently, her level of Christianity follows the Hebrew calendar, which is why it like changes dates versus most denominations of Christianity. It's on a specific day every year. Like Easter is on like the first Sunday or something, the third Sunday. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But their Easter follows the Hebrew calendar, which is why when Passover fell late, their Easter fell later. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Also, fun fact: Hanukkah falls on Christmas week this year.
Really?
Wild. Yeah, I can't remember the last time that Hanukkah fell on Christmas week.
I don't know. I feel like I can't speak too much. I'm not incredibly religious, and I haven't been to church in a very long time. I would like to go back. And
I think what we say is you're not cultured.
I'm not cultured.
Not cultured. But alas, in the end of the day, it was really cool to have the support of Alex, and we had so many others. I mean, we had, Alex with Baltimore de la Flor. We had Boggle with Baltimore Sound Entertainment on the DJ booth. We had Baco Pizzeria from Bel Air. If you guys haven't been to Baco Pizzeria, big shout out to Johnny and the guys over there. It's fantastic.
That food was really, really good.
Bro, for fucking delivery food, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Like even days later, fantastic. It was so good.
You guys still have some in your fridge?
Not as much as we wanted. Amanda was furious.
Yeah, when we were leaving the party, like, we want to take the food, can't throw it away. Da, da, da. What are we going to do with it? Yeah.
No. Like, all right, so we have these boxes in our car that we're going to go home with, right? And then I said to Andrea, I said, hey, can I take another box of cold cuts? Like, you have a whole bunch of boxes there.
Oh, dude, those were so good.
Oh, great. That's cool. So this is going to go over really well, babe. Just turn the microphone off now. All right,
threw them away.
No. We took a whole box, and it said cold cuts, and I didn't, like, think to check. I don't know. I just said, hey, are these cold cuts? And Dre said, yes. And I went, okay, great. And I grabbed them, and we went home. Boom, fridge, done. And then Amanda like went to go get them the next day, and she's like, what the fuck? And I was like, what happened? She's like, there's no fucking cold cuts in here. It was like a salad and like stromboli bites. She was livid.
Like someone put soap in her coffee.
Oh, man. It was exactly like that day that someone put soap in your coffee. And by day, I mean pretty much the whole week and maybe even the better part of the year of 2022, to be honest with you. Liv is literally behind the camera, like shaking her head, like, yep, that's what happened.
It wasn't that bad.
Bro, I hope your mom is listening to this. She owes you an apology still to this day. Oh my God, dude. You would have thought that Christian, somebody like peed in his Cheerios. He was so mad. For months.
It wasn't months. It was definitely in the moment.
It was.
And I was really looking forward to having some nice coffee. And then at the time I was living at home, and whoever had did the dishes, there was still like a ton of soap residue right on the mouthpiece and lid.
I wish we had that clip.
Oh God.
Whatever.
It was just unfortunate.
The thing that's not unfortunate is all the people that came out to appreciate and celebrate and have fun. And that's really what it's about. Even like Lisa Morris came out, one of my earlier clients, and Lisa is incredibly affectionate about our relationship and how long we've been together. She was not afraid to share the stories of 9 years ago when I represented her in the process of buying her home, and like her cousin and one of her friends came, people that have seen me grow in this industry. And it's just so, I don't know, taking advantage of that opportunity is so much life for me. Like I live for that. So it was really cool. And I had a great time. We podcasted about it, and we
how was that? I saw you guys doing it from distance.
We had a good time. It was interesting. Ryan got to share some information about his investments, and I didn't even know one of his investments is seller financed. Did you know that? He bought his mother-in-law's
Jordan.
property, but I didn't know that she financed it for them.
Neither did I.
And then he told me, you should listen to this podcast. It's actually wild. He told me that even though it's seller financed, the IRS has a requirement for the amount of interest provided. So like you can't just seller finance for 1%. They won't allow that.
Huh.
So the IRS has like limitations to what the seller financing can be. It probably falls into the same category as like drug running. You know what I mean? Like you have to have a certain level of legitimacy to your business. And so basically...
They want to make sure you're not money laundering.
Yeah, right? Like in today's world, if you were to give somebody, parents give their child a property and they sell or finance it, they collect the monthly revenue from the, mortgage, quote unquote. They have to charge an amortization. And Ryan was saying basically it's within 2.5 or 3 points. So if it's 7% today as a standardized fee, the IRS would set a rate of like, let's just say 4.5% would be the minimum. Or maybe it's 5, I don't know. Right? So they're actually seller financing that property from their mom.
I didn't know they seller financed. I didn't know they were renting it out.
Yeah, I also knew that, and I didn't know that they seller financed.
Yeah,
which is interesting. I mean, it just gives you so much food for thought, right? Down to brass tacks, like real estate talk, right? You have a family member in your family that inherits a property from a death in the family, and they want to sell it, or they want to turn it over to you, or they want to otherwise. Well, you can't just do nothing with it, right? Or perhaps you inherit a property, or you have come across a property that you don't know what to do with. Or maybe you have an investment property that you want to pass on to your child, right? You can't just gift it to them.
There was an article, and I was looking at this online for something, and it's funny that you bring up like inheriting properties. I can't find the article now. I think it was on Realtor.com, and I was just kind of reading around, and they had mentioned some of the things to look out for if you inherited a property, or why people that inherit properties don't typically hold on to them for an extended period of time. Just funny. Came full circle. I was reading it this morning. I can't find it now, but
it's kind of crazy. Like there's so much that goes into property ownership that you don't think about. We think about like paying the mortgage, but you don't think about divesting that ownership. You don't think about what you're going to do with it in 6 years. Even just today, I was talking with my attorney about, responsible legal entity ownership, right? Transferring ownership from one entity to another where we can protect ourselves, we can protect our investment. And yet all I ever hear from investors is like, oh, I'm going to open an LLC and I'm going to start an investment company and I'm going to make all this money. It's like, yeah, we do that, but we do it for a purpose. We don't just do it amicably.
But also like, someone's alarm's going off.
It's probably mine.
Yours, yeah.
Yeah.
But I was watching a podcast yesterday. I was watching Theo Von's, and Dave Ramsey was on the show.
Did it go off?
Do you know who Dave Ramsey is?
Yes, I know Dave Ramsey.
Okay, cool.
Oh, Sally, it sounds like you've got a real spending problem here. All you've got to do, Sally, all you got to do is not pay off your student loans. You should really get them forgiven for you by the government.
So you have her.
Yeah. Oh, so you have.
You know this guy. But
hey.
So how you were talking about some of the other sides of investing, he mentioned that real estate is not passive income. And I could, like, when he explained it, I was like, oh my God.
Wait, he said that or we said that?
He did.
Oh, okay. Continue.
And the reason is because it's hard work, right? Like, there's so many other things that go into purchasing a property, either managing it, having it rented out. Like, this is active work, managing with leaks, managing tenants,
let me ask you a
turnover rate,
question.
and all these other things.
Let me ask you a question. Would you say going to the doctor is active? I'm sorry. I'm saying this the wrong way. Would you say being a doctor is active or passive income?
Active? Being a doctor? Well, I guess if I'm practicing.
Yeah, you're a doctor.
Yeah.
All right, so it's active income. You're a doctor, right?
Okay.
You're practicing, you're doing work, right? Okay, but here's a true story from my life today. I had a doctor's appointment at 7:45 this morning.
Okay.
I went to the doctor. I showed up. I got an email that told me where to go, how to get there, new client portal, sign in, do all these different things,
too,
right?
by the way.
Yeah, no, I'm with it, right? Then I go in and I'm like, hello? Now it's 7:45 in the morning, so I was kind of like, maybe there's not a lot of coverage here. And this woman was like under the desk, like, she popped up, and I could tell that she was messing with the computer wires, like, oh, rewiring your computer at 7:30 in the morning. And she's like, yeah, got to find time. And we laughed about it. She gave me the sign-in sheet. She did all the stuff. Then I signed in. Then Michael, right, then took me back to room number 5. We're going to be right here today, right? And then I was in there, and what brings you in today? Why are you here? Do you have any, history of anaphylaxis? Right? Like all this weird shit that she's asking me. And I'm like, okay, sure, no problem. She's like, okay, do this and sit over here and look at the wall and X, Y, Z. I went, okay. And she goes, the doctor will be right in. I went, okay. To make matters worse, the doctor's name was Amanda. And she referred to her as Amanda, which was really weird because I was like, who the fuck refers to the doctor in first person? But whatever. So Amanda will be in. I was like, my wife? Is she in the other room? Is this a hidden camera show? Anyway, so I did all the things. I followed all the rules. I was like, okay, cool, listening to our Monday morning focus call. And then the doctor walks in. I put my phone down, and the doctor walks in. My phone rang. The key here is that my phone rang. So I silenced my phone, put it over here. Doctor was here, did what she needed to do, and left. And I was like, God damn, that was fast. So I pick up my phone. The phone rang, remember? So like I knew when she walked in the room. She was in that room for 2 minutes, 120 seconds, 2 minutes. Now, how much money did she make off of that 2 minutes? Was it $60? Was it $100? Was it $300? I don't know. And it doesn't actually matter, right? But that's active income. She's actively working on it. So I don't care if it's 60 seconds every 4 months when you go to get a checkup. I don't care if it's, 15 minutes every year when you have your physical. But that's active work to be a doctor. Why, when we have to do 15 seconds worth of work once a month, is it not considered active work when it's an investment?
I agree with you.
Strictly,
I feel like that was probably my whole point. And then
I agree.
Yeah.
But people think that it's like, oh, it's nothing. I'm an investor. Well, like it's passive income. Well, no, it's active. We just proved that it's active. Regardless of how much energy, effort, or anything you put into it, 60 seconds makes it an active business.
Yeah.
And so it's just annoying to me when people say, I want to get passive income.
Well, it's like get rich quick.
Where's the womp,
idea.
womp, womp?
And then become a millionaire overnight. It's a very interesting podcast. I think you'd enjoy it, and maybe some of our listeners would as well.
Oh, I mean, Dave Ramsey's podcast is fantastic. But I feel like it flies in this world above most entry-level people, and it almost like negs out entry-level people, which I don't like. I don't like that Dave Ramsey comes on and he's like, well, all you need to do is just buy your first property. And then what you need to do is you need to turn that one around and buy another one with the cash flow. And it's like, it's a little bit more complicated than that. It's not more complicated, but it's not just that simple, right?
Well, I think it's kind of similar to, and our home buyer events are great, but I think it's like when people shout out their situation and then expect the lender who's giving a presentation to have their exact answer and needs laid out on their table. He'll point you in the right direction, and then you guys should chat one-on-one. Same thing with like the Dave Ramsey situation. He will kind of give his input on what you should do, but maybe there's more to it that you need to take a deeper
I think
look
the challenge
into.
with him is that he flies in a world where it's easy to make money when you have money, right? So it's easy to say certain things when you have the capacity to do them. But he minimizes the people that are trying to get started. So he flies.
I wouldn't even say that.
world.
Like, and this was on Theo Von's podcast, not his. But he was basically saying like, Theo brought up like this idea of like, oh, like the little man will never win, or like, is that still a thing, or can people still be millionaires in this world? And he said most people that are millionaires, they did some study, have a property, they pay off their house. And they have, I think there was one other like qualification, a 401k. And that's the easiest way to become a millionaire. And a lot of them were like in the age of like 40-ish, give or take.
Dude.
But like,
for sure.
People aren't playing the long game, even for like now, right?
Bro,
like,
I literally feel like I'm sitting with Heather Kelly. This is the same exact conversation, right? Like we're all saying the same thing. We're all saying, get off your fucking ass and stop spending money at Starbucks.
Yeah.
Right? Like, kudos, Christian. You got a McCafe, right? You saved $4 today.
Dude, I thought about going to Good
Neighbor.
Neighbor.
That's girl math for you right there.
I thought about going to Good Neighbor. I was like, I don't want to pay fucking $14 for a latte.
Nah, to be honest with you, I think it just waters down the value when you go there every day. I love Good Neighbor, and it's an amazing coffee shop.
No,
but
it's
when
great.
you go there every day, it just waters down the value. You're spending more and more and more every single day.
Yeah.
I watched this this TikTok whatever. This dude put all this food on the table, and it was like, this is 3,364 calories, and this right here will add 1/2 of 1 pound or whatever it was to you in the terms of trans whatever fat, right? I don't care.
Yeah.
And he goes, this is how you gain weight. But, and then it pans over here and it's like, this is, a handful of nuts for 200 calories, and this is 1 chocolate bar for 330 calories, and this is 2 glasses of wine that you had on Thursday night. And then this is Friday night. So you chose to get your Friday morning. So you got coffee, and of course you got a muffin because it's the end of your work week, and then this, and then this, and then this, and then this, and then this. And it's not even that big of a deal because on Sunday you went right back to your grind. And where it seems like all you did was these little teeny tiny changes to your daily habits, but in the end of the day, it still added up to the same 3,300 calories. Yeah. And it was like fucking wild to think about that. When you think about, you go to the coffee shop every day because of course I'm going to get my coffee, right? Of course I'm going to go to Good Neighbor. Of course I'm going to go to Starbucks. But you're saying that all it takes is someone to defer that money into a 401k and they will become a millionaire. Not by the nature of doing it, but by the nature of the habit.
Yeah.
Right? Like by the nature of the habit, you can actually create a big outcome.
And I think a lot of it is also like a lifestyle change too. Like buying a property, putting
Where's Heather? I'm bringing her on the podcast.
I have a full-time job.
Like literally go back 4 weeks. You guys said the exact same thing. That's fucking awesome.
That's funny. I like me wanting to get into homeownership, wanting to buy a house hopefully in 2024. Fingers crossed.
Where's my back up? Getting into home ownership, buying a house. Yeah. I don't care when it happens, but saying wanting to is like.
Well, I guess I'm working on a few things, but also like to get to that point, not even just getting into home ownership, but like getting to that point also takes another lifestyle, like
sure.
change, right? And so I don't know, like,
bro, how many people do you see come into the trolley tour that go like this? They go, Nalgene, y'all giving away Nalgene bottles? You're like, that's mine.
Yeah,
that's mine.
I feel like I've almost had that happen before, where
For
like
sure.
I have my water bottle.
There's no question.
And maybe it shouldn't be on the table, but like.
But the question that I'm asking is that person the highest and most likely prospect to buy a home? And I'm not saying that they won't, because statistically they will. But what I'm saying is by the mere nature of the human being, right? People that rent houses, by the nature of who they are more likely to fuck up the house than homeowners. It doesn't mean that no one has ever fucked up the house that's a homeowner. It just means that by the nature of who they are, they don't carry themselves with the daily habits and actions that are going to get them to be a millionaire. By the way, $1 million is fucking nothing.
Yeah.
So like
nowadays, you know how we had the conversation months and months ago, maybe even almost like a year now, about there being a new class of people, renters and people who own real estate?
Yep.
We're getting closer and closer to the point by the
Firmly, dude.
By the
Firmly.
day. And like, I was having a conversation with one of my clients about 15-minute cities where everything that you would need is basically within 15 minutes of you.
What does that mean? I mean, I know what that means, but like, what is a 15-minute city? Are there such a thing? Or are they like being designed?
It's essentially what's being designed and like how cities are now being structured and kind of like even all across the world. But like everything you need is within 15 minutes of you, whether it be like apartments, whether it be grocery store, a park, a restaurant, a bar, and like and what I immediately thought of, I was like, you know what this makes me remind of? Like it reminds me of Harbor East.
Well, yeah, but fucking think of this. Just put this in your pipe and smoke it, okay? 15 minute cities. That's the first time I've heard that. Right? But 15-minute cities, okay? Just think about this. 20 years ago, it took 25 minutes to get to X. How often did you go to X? Are you more likely to go to X more often if it was only 10 minutes away?
Probably.
Are we just fucking creating living experiences for people that are literally turning them into mob children for the rich?
Yeah.
Like we're literally creating the conveniences of life to be more easily attained so that we spend more money thus driving a bigger dive between the rich and the poor.
Have you seen the new TV series Fallout?
No.
Are you familiar with the game?
I don't even watch TV, but yes, I am familiar with the game.
Dude, the TV show is fucking fantastic. But basically, they talk about people just being the product.
The product of their environment, you mean?
Like,
Or the product of the fallout?
No. So, like these big companies or whatever you want to call it, fucking these big companies, right? Like, they're designing an iPhone, they're designing all these things, but the iPhone's not the product, the people are the product, right? So, like, they're really going after, if that makes sense. I don't know if I'm wording this in the right way.
It's a little weird.
Maybe I'm fucking it up a little bit, but in my head, it kind of makes sense.
I think
this laptop
wild.
isn't the product. The phone that you're holding isn't the product. This coffee isn't the product. You are. They're going after you, essentially.
What about this? Just think about this. I only know this because I saw it today. Do you know who created the Beats headphones? Like, celebrity person?
Yeah.
Who?
Dr. Dre.
Dr. Dre.
Okay.
Do you know who owns Beats headphones?
He probably did at one point, but
He did.
Didn't it sell to Apple?
Yep. So Apple owns Beats headphones. And how much did it sell to Apple?
Probably a fucking ton. A fuck ton.
3.2 billion. Billion with a B. $3.2 billion. That is what consumerism is worth in the headphone category.
Yeah.
In the fucking things that put music into your ears. Forget the actual device that's playing it. It's mind-boggling how connected we have become from we want to buy a house to if you don't buy a house, you're so far behind the rest of the world as far as financially, just like, let's just consider it financial wellness. But, going full circle all the way back home, right? Lisa Morris, this client that came to our client appreciation party, Lisa was going through a really tough time in her life, and she's a single mom, and she's taking care of her mother. She's got all these different things going on, and what did she choose to do? She chose to buy a house. And then when her life continued to get struggled and continued to get more and more squeezed tighter, her attorney had, legal advice, which doesn't matter, and I'm not going to say it on air, but her attorney had legal advice to protect herself and her family to create a bubble around her house. And so her bubble became the center of everything that they did, right? She's got 2 kids in college. She's got 2 kids, 1 kid that, just recently graduated off to big boy job. Like,
nice.
She's done a lot to change her life. Now, when you back up, Lisa also has a family inheritance that her parents owned. And when you look down the lineage of that family, these people are passed away, these people are passed away, these people are in jail, these people are over here, these people don't have a penny to rub together, these people this, that, and the other. It literally changed her entire life from the trajectory of her entire lineage of family just by buying a house. And I'm not saying that buying a house makes you a millionaire. I'm also not saying that not spending $5 on coffee and investing $3 into your 401k is going to make you a millionaire. But it's strictly the change between the habits that you create that generate the outcome, where Lisa Morris is off on Friday nights and has the ability to come to our client appreciation party because of the changes that she made in her life to go from working the 24/7 to getting a real job, buckling down, providing a life for her family, saving, creating an opportunity for herself. But it starts with the habits.
Yeah, and that's crazy. To just touch on that real quick, Dave Ramsey even mentioned that in the episode with Theo Vaughn. It's like, yeah, he worked his ass off for 2, 3, 4 years, like 24/7, shit ton of hours, and then it eventually like started paying off, so where he didn't have to work that much. He was still making the same money, if not more money, having more freedoms, having maybe even more financial freedom, right? To start investing, to start living the life that he wanted to live. But it started with that lifestyle change and doing the hard work.
Yeah, I mean, all the wealthy people in the world will tell you the same thing. It starts with hard work. It starts with a commitment. And last week, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago, we talked about a couple that I met looking to rent a property. She makes a great living, crazy amount of money that she makes, but they don't save anything. They don't pay off any debts. They don't have any money to rub together. And yet the rental property that we met at, the $2,800, $2,900 rental property, wasn't acceptable to her because X. I don't know. Closets aren't big enough. Bathrooms aren't big enough. The soaking tub wasn't enough for myself. But yet, like, the premise of moving up in the world is not having soaking tubs. The premise of moving up in the world is creating wealth and opportunity for your family and for future generations, not having a soaking tub to put your feet in. Now, those are niceties that you can generate for yourself with the wealth, but you can't just force it upon yourself because you just decided that you're going to be, Coffee Friday. That's how we end up with those extra half pounds, right? It's interesting because, one of the wealthiest people that I've ever met said to me, yeah, look, there are people out here striving to make $1 million. And making $1 million makes you a millionaire, right? Making $100 million makes you a millionaire. Making $1 billion with a B is an aspiration that's real in today's world. And yet we have people out here that are focused on soaking tubs.
Yeah.
So, like, which one is your aspiration? Is your aspiration to be a billionaire? Is your aspiration to have a soaking tub? Is your aspiration somewhere in between? And you might say, hey, buying a house isn't for me, and that's okay, but don't bash other people that choose to do it.
Yeah.
Right? There's good debt and bad debt. There's good leverage and bad. I just look at it like, Christian, you're going to buy a house. And the question just becomes when?
Yeah.
It could be tomorrow with Ryan's new investor-friendly loan.
I don't have 20% to put down.
Debt services. I don't understand enough about it, but yeah, I mean,
I will say it's very neat that they are like always kind of coming up with new programs, whether it fits a big group of people or even a select few. It's really neat to see them be able to put these things together. And even, again, if it affects one person to better their life, great. If it affects 50 people to better their life, even better, right? But being able to put that program, give it out to the public, especially for something as unique as like 1099 and self-employed borrowers, because we always run into some shit.
It's the ability to continue to grow. It's not just sitting back and saying, yeah, I can do this, right? It's the ability to continue to serve more people, trust more people, and embrace more people into their lives, into our business, into theirs, that creates the opportunity. And I think really what it ultimately comes down to is like, hey, we have a chance to help more people. Otherwise, you wouldn't do it. Otherwise, you just say, nah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do investor-friendly loans. I don't want to do down payment assistance, or I don't want to do, like you said, the 1099 loans, the self-employed borrowers loans, the debt services, credit consolidation. I don't even know what he was talking about today.
Ryan's like one of those guys with like one of the coats in the alley. Which loan program?
Yeah, right.
And then
which watch is for you? Oh, you're not for watches? Which loan program is for you? Right? Like the guys in Aladdin. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's really great, and I think ultimately that mentality is what continues to move us forward through good markets and down. You have the opportunity to service and represent more and more and more of your clients. That's what we need to focus on. So
yeah,
kudos to you guys, over there at First Home, and, doing the right thing to provide us more support that's going to help more people. And if you guys weren't able to join us at our client appreciation party last Friday, make sure you reach out to us, because we will have a client appreciation party in about 12 months from now. But between now and then, we've got our pie party in November. We've got home buyer events. We've got home seller events where we teach sellers how to manage the current state of the market and help them prepare to make that big transition. And we have a investor meetup starting at the end of the month. We're very excited to start to share some of those stories and the things that we've learned, and expand some of the contractors that we've worked with that we trust to the other peoples of our community.
One more thing, brother.
One more thing.
We also have a Trolley tour coming up on May 11th down here at Henderson Hopkins. Great event to learn about Baltimore City homeownership, the programs that are offered as well with the city living. So if you have any questions, reach out to us, sign up for our event. We'll see you there.
Love it. Love it. And if you haven't already, make sure you reach out on Instagram at michael.frank___. You can always find myself and all of our team members, including Raya, on our website at frankoliverco.com. And you can always reach out to me direct or PM, DM anytime.
You can find me on Instagram at Christian the Deadhead. We'll chat with you soon.
Thanks, guys. What's up, guys? Thanks for watching. For more information on the housing market, Real Estate 101, how you can leverage your position in today's market, and so much more, click on the link below. If you like this video or have a burning real estate question you'd like us to answer, leave us a comment and let us know. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss an episode, and we'll see you again real soon.